Hi everybody, it's Katie, and today we're going to be making chainmail. You're going to need a few tools. One is going to be these chain nose pliers, so they are flat on the inside and they taper to a point in the front so they can get into nice tight spaces. The other pair that I like to use is a bent nose plier, so they are curved like this. Also flat on the inside, no teeth, but you can use two pairs of chain nose, you could just use flat nose, whatever you have on hand, you can do this project. We are going to need some jump rings. These ones here are a 3.5 millimeter inside diameter ring. They are at 18 gauge. 18 gauge is approximately 1 millimeter thick. So an outside diameter would be 3.5 inside diameter plus 1 millimeter plus 1 millimeter, which would be 5.5 millimeter outside diameter rings. You can also use a jump ring that is this sample here. Is a jump ring that is a 4 millimeter inside diameter with a outside diameter of 6 millimeter, because again it is 18 gauge, so 4 millimeter inside diameter plus a millimeter is 6 millimeters. So either one of those would work well for a Byzantine chainmail bracelet. Alright, so I like to start by closing up a few jump rings. So I'm going to grab the jump ring, so the opening is here at the top, and I'm going to grab the jump ring, push slightly in as I twist until I get the two pieces aligned to meet up. So I get the two pieces nice and aligned. That's where the opening is right there. So you want to make sure you close them up nice and tight. I am going to close up 4 jump rings to start with. Okay, so I have my 4 jump rings. Now I'm going to take one more and I'm going to open it up. When you open jump rings, you want to twist the two pieces apart like so that you can slip more jump rings in. You don't want to open it up too much because you're going to have to close it back up again. So now I'm going to take my 4 jump rings that I have already closed up completely, and I'm going to drop them in just like so. So they're inside that open jump ring, and then I'm going to go in and close that jump ring. Now I need to add one more jump ring because it needs to be a group like this that is 2, 2, 2 rings. So I need to add one more into the center. Grab that jump ring, open it up, slip that in there, and twist it nice and tight closed. So now I have a group like this. Once I have my starter group, I like to put a piece of wire in 2 of the rings on one end so that I know this is the end and I know which side I'm going to be adding to. It also gives me a little bit of a handle to hold on to. Alright, I'm going to take 2 rings and I'm going to slightly open up both rings. Alright, so I have one slightly opened. I'm going to take my little bundle here. Now this is how we started, alright? We're going to grab this, we're going to take the 2 end rings, we're going to push them sideways and down. Alright, so just like that. Now we need to look from the top and spread those guys apart. Take my ring, and I'm just catching 2 rings on the inside. Alright, now I'm going to take my pliers and close that ring up. Now with the Byzantine bracelet, every space needs to have 2 rings, so I'm going to add one more in that space that I just added my ring, and close it up. So now this is what I have right now. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to add 2 more rings into the last 2 rings there. So there's 1, and there is 2. And now it looks like this. So we need to make another group of 3 rings connected together. So there's our first one and there's our second one. So we need to add 2 more rings to the end. Some people will go through and open a bunch of rings up already so that they're ready to go and they just have to close them all. It's up to you. Okay, so now it looks like this. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and open 2 more rings so that they are ready to insert into my weave. Okay, so now we have it like this. Again, those last two rings, we need to spread them apart and fold them down alongside here. And then on the top, these two here, we're gonna spread them apart like so. And I'm going to take one of my open rings and just go through those two in the middle. Then go in and close it up. Now I need 2 rings in every space, so I'm going to take my second open ring, slip it in that same space that I was just in, and close it up. Now this is my completed first little link, all right? These are really cute. You could use these as earrings, or you could also just make a bunch of these and connect them by wire wrapping a bead in between. But we're going to continue adding on so that it is a solid Byzantine bracelet. Now, this is my first set of rings. So there's 1 set of rings. We need to have 3 sets of rings before we can fold our pieces over. So I'm adding my second set. So now it looks like so. I've got 1 set, I've got 2 sets, and now I need to add my third set. Okay, so now I have 3 sets. Can you see 1, 2, 3? This is what it looks like from the other angle. Now before I can fold those other 2 over, I need to open up a couple. So I have 2 on hand, ready to slip into that weave. Now I'm going to keep the last one in my pair of pliers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 rings here at the end. I'm going to fold them out and flip them down so that they are beside like that. Spread these 2 top ones apart and link through those 2 that I had folded down and close it up. Now again, remember, you always have to have 2 rings in every space. So I take my second open ring and I slip that in as well. So it is like so. So you're just going to continue adding rings in that manner until you have the bracelet as long as you want. Let me jump into telling you all how to calculate how many rings you need for a finished bracelet or necklace. Okay, so when we're talking about jump rings, the inside diameter is from one side inside the ring to the other side in a straight line of the ring. So the inside diameter of this ring is 3.5 millimeters. The wire itself is 1 millimeter thick because it is an 18 gauge metal. So we have a 3.5 millimeter inside diameter plus 1 millimeter plus 1 millimeter gives us a 5.5 millimeter outside diameter of the ring. Now these measurements are important with chainmail because the rings all interlock and connect with each other, so they are interacting with each other. Okay, so I have 2 different Byzantine bracelet samples here. They're both the same weave. They're both 18 gauge thick jump rings, but the difference is one of these jump rings is 0.5 millimeter bigger than the other. So with this one here, you can see it's a little bit more of an open weave. It's still a really nice denseness, but it's a little bit more open. These ones are a 4 millimeter inside diameter. When we add in our millimeter thickness for the walls times 2, so we have 4 millimeters plus 1 millimeter for one side of the ring thickness, 1 millimeter for the other side of the ring thickness is a 6 millimeter outside diameter ring. So unless you buy these through a chainmail supply company, you will usually be given the outside diameter of a ring. So if you find a 6mm ring that is an 18 gauge metal, this will work. It'll have a 4mm inside diameter. These ones you need 22 jump rings per an inch. So again, same idea. Take 22, multiply it by however long you want the finished weave to be, and there you go. Now this one here is a little bit of a tighter weave. You can maybe see that you can't quite see through the rings as much as you can with this one. So this one is a 0.5 millimeter smaller size ring. So this one is a 3.5 inside diameter ring. It is still an 18 gauge, so it's the same thickness of wire made to make these rings. So if we take that 3.5 millimeter inside diameter and we add a 1 millimeter thickness for one side of the ring, 1 millimeter thickness for the other side of the ring, we get a 5.5 millimeter outside diameter. Now that's kind of a weird size, so you may not find those through normal jewelry supply companies. It's usually like a 4 millimeter or 6 millimeter rings. So these ones you might have to look specifically at chainmail supply companies. So for this one, which is the tighter weave, you need approximately 26 rings per an inch of weave. So depending on if you want a bracelet or necklace, you can just take 26 and multiply it by the length that you want your bracelet or necklace to be. Keep in mind that your clasp is going to take up some space, so you can subtract however big your clasp is from the amount of rings to get the number of rings you need to make a bracelet or a necklace. Byzantine is a great weave to start with. Talk to you guys later. Bye.